Poland has established itself as one of the strongholds of the world MMA, and Mateusz Gamrot became her new phenomenon, taking the school of Polish grappling in MMA to a new level.
Always got Holtzman moving his feet.
Look at that. Knives doubling.
Ahead.
Because you can see he's starting to hold back.
So let's take a look to Polish Gamer, who is already knocking loudly at the gates of the UFC lightweight elite. Mateusz was born in December 11, 1990, in an old town in southern Poland. As a teenager, he moved to the city of Mielec, where he went to a boarding school. Here, Gamrot was engaged in wrestling, and after a few years, he joined the national team. Before 2011, Pole managed to get more than 300 fights, both locally and globally. In this period of life, he once again changed his place of residence and appeared to the city of Poznan, where he began training in MMA. The first results were not long in coming, and in 2012, he took gold at the European Championships in the 70 kg category. Soon, Mateusz decided to go professional. The debut of the future UFC top fighter dates back to February 2012. He performed at the tournament of the Polish MMA organization XFS. Gamrot, who chose the nickname Gamer, got his first fight against a native of Chechnya, Arbi Shamayev. At the beginning, a good grappler Arbi was defending from takedowns quite good, but was not so active at the same time. In the second round, after a successful takedown, the Pole controlled the opponent without any problems and also connected with the hard ground and pound. The punches were so hard that Shamayev's nose could not stand it.
Walkę wygrywa Mateusz Gamrot, Ankos Zapasy Poznań, narożnik czerwony.
Inspired by a confident performance, Gamrot returned in April and shared the ring with Tomasz Matuszewski. The denouement came already in the second minute, when, after an unsuccessful attempt of takedown, the Gamer's hand tightly took the opponent's neck to the guillotine. The third fight in Mateusz's career stood out against the Slovak Tomasz Dek. Bringing out opponent out of balance, Mateusz have failed to finish his opponent. An attempt of armbar was also unsuccessful. Gamer continued to dominate the fight until the very end. As a result, victory by a confident decision. After 3 bright victories, the Pole was signed to the main promotion of the country, KSW. In debut, he was opposed by Mateusz Zawadzki, who lost only once in 12 professional fights. Not wanting to work in stand-up game, Gamrot made 2 takedowns in 5 minutes and worked confidently from the back. But the second round of the fight turned into real thriller for Zawadzki. Just a couple of months later, the Pole returned to the ring to face the former UFC fighter, British Andre Winner, who won 3 out of 4 fights after leaving the UFC. Athletes showed a boring and inactive performance. Gamrot periodically imposed some wrestling and was able to carry out a takedown in the first 2 rounds. While Andre only defended and threw inaccurate kicks. Which naturally led him to defeat. On KSW 27, Gamer met with another Briton. This time, he was opposed by Jefferson George, flying almost like Masvidal. Gamrot falls into a triangle choke. Having got out of the trap, the Pole began to impose his game, transferring the tired Briton without any problems and breaking from the guard.
A zdał sobie z kamery być bardzo mocno skoncentrowany, jeżeli nie chce przyjąć czegoś od George'a. Zejście po stopę, proszę. Trzecią rundę Jefferson George, jeszcze kolano, ale to tylko podoba.
Tak, teraz trzeba bić mocno i zdecydowanie.
Two judges scored this fight as 30-27, and one even gave 30-26.
Mateusz
In June 2014, the Pole represented his country at the prestigious ADCC European Grappling Tournament, where he took gold medal in 77 kilograms. After that, in September, he fought at Cage Warriors event, where he crossed gloves with an athlete from Wales, Tim Newman.
In the camo shorts, Mateusz Gamrot from Poland in the black.
On the inertia from the grappling tournament, Mateusz went for a heel hook in the first round.
Angle. And a look of pain on Newman's face.
Mateusz Gamrot.
The Pole returned to his native KSW on a December evening in 2014. This time, his opponent was Łukasz Ślewicki, who had to stop the undefeated grappler.
Jedziemy!
No matter how hard Ślewicki tried to avoid wrestling of Gamrot,
Jeszcze raz to samo.
Skuteczna, kolejna skuteczna.
he overtook him.
On jest zawodnikiem
W
startowym.
tej chwili chyba Poznaniak ma plan, aby przycisnąć. Jeszcze raz za jedną nogę, wysoko, tulił. Proszę, kapitalnie.
However, Lucas only managed to tie the opponent quite good, so that the referee would regularly raise them to stand up.
Mateusz Gamrot.
In early 2015, Gamrot took the fight again. Brazilian Rodrigo Cavalheiro has become another test in the Pole's career. Possessing good takedown defense and instincts, Rodrigo almost reached the end of the first round, but one mistake was enough.
Pracuje w defensywie Rodrigo Cavalheiro tym chodzeniem, ale teraz zostawił nogę przy próbie niskiego kopnięcia. Kilka spektakularnych bomb i teraz jeszcze na ostatnie 10 sekund zrywa się Gamrot.
Teraz przytrzymał sobie głowę.
Saved by a bell, in the final 5-minute period, Cavalheiro again made a mistake.
Kiedy rozpuszcza ręce Brazylijczyk. Ładne, świetne, ma plecy.
W stylu legendarnego Kazushego Sakurawy wciąga.
Which Gamrot didn't forgive.
Kończyć się przez TKO!
Jakże szybko, jeden cios za drugim, jak karabin maszynowy. W tej chwili atakuje Mateusz Gamrot i wbija głowę Brazylijczyka.
Mateusz Gamrot.
In the autumn of the same year, KSW organized a duel between Mateusz, undefeated at that time, who managed to win the prestigious Naga grappling tournament, and the famous Russian prospect Marif Pirayev.
Otóż to, zobaczymy jaki to będzie miało wpływ na przebieg pojedynku.
A minute after the start, Gamer had a takedown, and almost up to the bell, he worked in his usual style. At the beginning of the second segment, Marif injured his leg with his own kick.
O, jest kontuzja!
And being on canvas, stubbornly resisting, he was finished by Mateusz.
I młotkowe ciosy spadają na głowę Pirayewa, to może być koniec pojedynku! Jest sędzia Michał blisko!
Mateusz Gamrot.
Gamrot was scheduled to fight for the vacant KSW lightweight title. This time, his counterpart turned out to be the French grappling master Mansour Barnaoui, who had the belts of the M1 Global and Bama leagues, and for several years had been fighting only with the top European opposition.
The Guru, Chris Hoekstra, and this.
Without reinventing the wheel, Gamrot borrowed the working strategy of Islam Makhachev, who had already defeated Barnaoui.
Is important, but this is the danger. Such a
Barnaoui trying to close the ring down. Oh, there's the shoot, and again we see
He gets a chance just like that. You see that? But then Gamrot defends and goes to his back. Incredible.
At the end of the second round, Mansour reminded the Pole that he is considered the elite of European MMA for a good reason.
Well, in an attempt to get out of the way of those, needs to have a care here.
In an attempt to take Mateusz down,
Getting out of the red corner, takes on Mansour Barnaoui.
the Afro Samurai finds himself under an opponent who no longer gave him a chance to take the KSW champion belt.
When the bell goes,
Unbelievable. And it's going down here in Poland.
Mateusz Gamrot!
The first defense took place after Gamrot victory on the Polish ADCC tournament. The Brazilian puncher, Renato Gomes Gabriel, volunteered to challenge the title of the undefeated champion. Not standing on ceremony with the challenger, Gamer started with takedowns.
Te walki będzie musiał Gamrot naprawdę bardzo mocno uważać. I jeszcze po nogę. I jeszcze punkty na koniec tej pierwszej rundy.
In the second segment, the ADCC champion saw a great opportunity for heel hook. The Brazilian resisted for a long time, but this perseverance only led him to injury and Mateusz to the first defense title.
Jest złapany koniec!
And still, KSW lightweight champion is...
In 2017, Gamer fought twice, and both fights were against the Irishman Norman Park, who won one of the tough seasons and performed well in the UFC for 4 years. The first clash between the athletes occurred at the May event of KSW 39.
Norman Park, 6 decyzji w ostatnich 6.
Demonstrating the level of takedown defense.
Za jedną nogę, później dojście do drugiej, tak jest plan Mateusza Gamrota. Jednak wstaje Irland.
In the second round, Park erupted with claim that the Pole had bitten his fingers. Gamrot replied that he himself should not use fish hooks. However, he did not defend worse from takedowns after that.
Zastanawiające. Ciągle te ulubione przez Behemoth powiedział Irlandczyk. Mało waży, jeżeli nie jest bity z pełną mocą. Irlandczyka jest prawy Polaka i znów zamarkował. Walka pod dyktando Normana Parka. Walka, balans Irlandczyka. Może teraz się uda wysoko wynieść zawodnika z Irlandii. Nie.
Celne ataki jednak z Mateuszem Gamrotem. W moim liczeniu tutaj przegrywa.
Parkę wzywa do takiej bezpardonowej wymiany jeszcze.
The victory went to a local athlete.
And still, KSW lightweight champion!
Many considered this decision controversial, so soon Gamrot and Park were given the opportunity for a rematch. Unfortunately, this matchup was not a title fight, as the Irishman did not make weight, but at the same time, the fight turned out to be much brighter than the first one. Realizing the importance of this fight, the rivals preferred to resolve their dispute in a fistfight.
Mateusza Gamrota. Oczywiście ten nie pozostaje dłużny, ale jakby jego ciosy troszeczkę poza celem.
A teraz tak jest za cios za cios, kopnięcie, lewym sierpie Gamera i lewym sierpie Parka. Mateusz Park nie daje tego po sobie poznać. Prawa ręka Gamrota fantastycznie pracuje.
Jest tak wiele, że nie wiem, czy można zrobić jeszcze coś więcej.
However, the pleasure of the spectators' eyes was interrupted by an accidental eye poke from Gamrot.
Nieprawdopodobne jest to, co fundują nam zawodnicy.
Referee Mark Goddard declared this fight as no contest.
Gamrotowi. To jest drugi raz.
Zostaje uznana za nieodbytą.
In March 2018, Gamrot went for the third official title defense. This time, he was opposed by compatriot Grzegorz Szulikowski with a record of 18-1.
W American Top Team, gdzie przygotował się po raz pierwszy do walki, na co dzień sparował z lepszymi zawodnikami.
At first, the challenger was successful in his attacks.
Gdzie trenuje Szulakowski.
Idzie zdeterminowany, tak jakby nie było.
But by the middle of the first round, he actively used wrestling and ground and pound, easily controlled Szulikowski on the ground.
W stanie zablokować wysokie kopnięcie Gamrota.
To samo, co w
To
pierwszym
jest odmienny obraz parteru niż te
Chce powymieniać te pięści w bezpiecznym dystansie i dopiero teraz w ten sam sposób klasyk.
I to go skutecznie powstrzymuje.
By the fourth 5-minute period, Grzegorz lost his stamina, and the gamer took advantage of this and went to the crucifix position, from where he plowed contender's face with dozens of blows,
70 sekund na rozbijanie.
and then went for Americana submission.
Jeszcze klucz. I koniec walki. Mateusz Gamrot w dalszym ciągu.
Mateusz Gamrot!
In October, Mateusz once again took part in the European ADSC tournament, and this time he took silver medal. After that, he decided to go down to featherweight for a fight against representative of Japan, Kleber Koike Erbst, who at that time got 20 of 24 victories by submission. The battle promised to be stubborn. Koike, being a master of submissions of various stripes, was a threat after takedowns.
Yang about what he does. The crowd wanting to see more. And he's pressing this against Koike. Oh, and a lovely little attempt at Ogoshi there from Koike.
Amazing.
One of KSW's best fighters, but starting to miss now. Koike pressurizing Gamrot, and Gamrot being made to miss. It's really incredible to see. Just look at the level here. And we know that...
In the championship rounds, Erbst's drawdown in the functional aspect became noticeable. His face was covered in blood, and Mateusz continued to increase his advantage on all fronts, eventually becoming champion even in featherweight.
But not enough. And now look at Gamrot.
Mateusz Gamrot!
Gamer missed 2019 in MMA, but once again conquered the gold at the ADCC tournament in Poznan. He returned to the cage only in the summer of 2020. An old friend, Norman Park, was waiting for him, who during the absence of the champion took interim champion belt. But just before the fight, he failed the weigh-in again.
Ale panie prezenterze I komentatorze Łukaszu Jurkowski, tu ma być...
In this battle, Mateusz's great progress in striking technique became noticeable. Park, which previously gave him problems in stand-up, this time turned out to be a static target for the Pole's fast crosses and uppercuts.
I znów doskonała akcja. Doskonale, kapitalnie wyczuwa ten dystans. I w momencie, kiedy zaatakuje tą prawą ręką, wyraźnie się poprawiła. I w tej chwili
Inicjuje Norman Park, na razie skoncentrował się przede wszystkim na tym, aby nie przyjmować
łokcie.
Dobra kombinacja, zakończone wszystko takim frontalnym.
ADCC champion tormented opponent made him bleed. In the third 5-minute period, the doctor, seeing the mess on Norman's face, forbade him to continue the battle.
Jeden cios na 50. Tu statystyki tego pojedynku muszą być bezlitosne.
Gdzie jest Adrian? Koniec walki!
Mateusz Gamrot!
The gamer spent his last defense of the KSW champion title in the same year at event number 54. The next contender turned out to be Marian Zielkowski, who replaced the undefeated Russian Shamil Musayev. Having parity in the striking aspect, Gamrot's wrestling skills were still on another level, which allowed him to defend the title again.
Gamrot, но повалить его на настил не может. Вот сейчас вот такой вот силовой тейкдаун, но во всяком случае Gamrot и остается чемпионом KSW. Mateusz Gamrot, поздравляем!
With a 17-0 record, the unbeaten Pole made his UFC debut at the October 2020 UFC event. His first opponent was Khamzat Chimaev's friend, Georgian Guram Kutateladze.
Gamrot of Poland in the red and Kutateladze in the black.
The first 5 minutes were equal. Gamer took the opponent down and more often worked as the first number.
With his right leg in front.
Measuring himself with the high-level fighters.
Beautiful takedown there.
Looked like Kutateladze throwing a kick.
But quick kicks of Georgian gave some problems to Mateusz.
Very quickly follows it with the same hand. By the way, Kutateladze fought the MMA when he...
Guram became more active and even more diverse in striking in the second round.
Clearly shaken by that. Kutateladze is going to continue to affect the arm.
For that buzzsaw combination.
Mikey Sadadorf in the corner.
See Mateusz Gamrot when he gets it. That's a nice takedown.
Oh, what a nice butterfly hook. He didn't have a fight booked. He went over there hoping to make a good impression on the coattails of Khamzat Chimaev.
But he got tired by the third. Gamrot managed to control him a little more on the ground and delivered some shots.
Gamrot right here, you see him change his stance.
Well, Gamrot clearly shaken by that.
For any fighters out there as well.
As a result, the judges differed in their opinion, but decided to award Gamrot with the first loss.
The Georgian Viking.
For a bright showdown, the athletes received the Fight of the Night award. In pursuit of the first victory in the league, Gamer crossed gloves with UFC veteran Scott Holtzman, who had recently lost by knockout to Beneil Dariush.
Oh, that's it!
In this fight, Pole revealed himself to American fans in a new way. From the first seconds, Scott went forward and was clearly charging for an uppercut from the right hand.
Masvidal, it feels like he's just ready, and I believe that's... Oh!
Goodness, big shot.
Very effective to this point against Holtzman.
Gamrot was calm and avoided many shots. Successfully started his wrestling game.
He wants to take you down something up the middle. You got to show him knee, you got to show him uppercut. You know, dude's so big. Again, Gamrot just takes a shot. Oh, beautiful change.
Nice.
That was...
But a bright denouement came in the middle of the second round.
Always got Holtzman moving his feet.
Oh!
1-2 down the middle.
Right hand.
Holtzman in the finish. See the 1-2 right down the pipe. Lands for Gamrot. And that was just a beautiful setup with the side-to-side motion. Once he got him...
The right cross right into the jaw. And finishing was just a matter of technique.
And then just a
Mateusz Gamrot!
Just a couple of months later, Gamrot returned to the octagon to meet famous veteran and one of the greatest knockout artists in UFC history, Jeremy Stephens, who was on a 4-match losing streak.
Ready to fight? Let's go!
All right, this fight clock is brought to you by the U.S. Army.
That's Jeremy. What do you think of Mateusz? He said he's an ankle biter. And then look at that straight away. It's not the ankle, but he's got the leg. No doubt Jeremy, excellent.
Stay here and they get back to the feet. You see Jeremy trying to lock up
it over the body. Jeremy,
I thought he said, Mateusz Gamrot submits Jeremy Stephens in just over.
Tight and confident Kimura was the first defeat of Stephens by submission in 11 years.
That's not easy to do to a man like Jeremy Stephens. Right. Incredible.
Mateusz Gamrot!
Yes, sir!
At the end of 2021, Pole found himself in a cage again. This time, his opponent was the tough Brazilian gatekeeper Carlos Diego Ferreira.
Which he makes every Monday morning at 3, stays for a couple of days, then goes back home and trains down in South.
From the start, Gamrot went ahead and was successful in takedowns, which he made 3 during the round.
Wow,
This is what Gamrot wants, but the
coming
scramble.
into this one, I think he's 19-1. In his mind, he feels like he's still undefeated Diego Ferreira. But look at that.
However, Ferreira quickly got to his feet each time.
From Gamrot.
One way or another, in the second round, the gamer pinned Ferreira to the fence, where he delivered a heavy knee to the body.
Yeah,
The Brazilian signaled to the referee that he could not continue the fight.
He's defending. Boom. That was to the ribs. That was to the ribs.
Mateusz Gamrot!
In 2022, Gamrot, who opened up in the UFC, headlined one of ESPN UFC events along with an extremely promising representative of Armenia, Arman Tsarukyan, who was number 11 in rankings.
5 rounds, if needed. This fight clock is brought to you by Toyo Tires.
In the first 5 minutes, it became clear that Arman's corner decided to use the tactics of Guram Kutateladze. Kicks flew in abundance.
Saw this as well. Oh, it's a feat. Tsarukyan's a little more dynamic. Oh, that one hurt him, I think.
Defend yourself at all times.
Oh, that was big.
In wrestling aspect, fighters had parity.
Man, the scrambles. It's going to be insane.
Look at that roll from Gamrot. Another scramble. Back to the mat they go.
Man, they don't settle for any position for 1 second.
When he fought for KSW.
It's a big advantage.
Wow.
Really
Takedown for Gamrot.
In layman's terms, who wants it more?
unbelievable.
In the final 2 rounds, Arman's stamina was affected by the high pace and energy-intensive kicks. He was tired, and it became more difficult to defend from takedowns and get to the feet after them.
Fighting for it.
Put together a combination. Another heavy kick to the body, but he... No question about it.
Oh, his leg is stuck behind him in an awkward...
Clean!
Right to the back.
It is so even. It's never ahead on the takedown. So big these guys are.
And we knew it, right? We talked about it in the build-up.
And this is the pace.
After a full 25 minutes of action, the judges unanimously gave the victory to Mateusz, and this decision still causes numerous disputes and discussions in the MMA community.
Mateusz Gamrot!
With a brilliant career at the homeland and dominating performances with very tough opposition in the UFC,
Mateusz Gamrot submits Jeremy Stevens in just over a minute!
Mateusz Gamrot has proven that he absolutely deserves his place in the octagon. Up the ladder, only elite of the division, and only time will show could he climb to the very top of this ladder or not.